Hello, my name's Brittany. I'm a senior agriculturist here at the San Antonio Zoo, and I want to introduce you to my friend Hades. He's a black palm cockatoo and one of the babies we raised here at the zoo. So Hades is about 2 years old. He was born in 2018 in December, well, hatched technically. And we raised him from the point that we pulled his egg from mom and dad, put him in an incubator, and then helped him through the hatching process, and then from hatch to independence. So that takes a lot of work. Palm cockatoos took a while for us to figure out because Hades is the 5th palm cockatoo chick we've raised here at the San Antonio Zoo. But prior to that, we had not had any experience to it. So we asked for other helps from other facilities, other zoos, and personal breeders. And they gave us a lot of good suggestions, but we had a different method doing it here because each facility is different and we had to learn what worked for us. So Hades here had a lot of tender loving care put into him. He's named Hades because otherwise if he had stayed with his parents, he probably wouldn't have made it. He came out a little bit underdeveloped and needed extra help to make it through here. So we like to say he beat death, and he's the Lord of Death. That's why he got his name. Hades here is, he started out life pretty naked. He didn't have any eyesight. He was bald. He couldn't control his own temperature, so that's a kind of baby bird that we refer to allotrichal. So that means that he needed his parents to survive. And since mom and dad didn't know what we were doing, we had to do it for him. So we used the help of incubators. We use these machines called archoms that help regulate temperature and humidity, and we were constantly monitoring that temperature and humidity along with his weight changes and how much food we gave him each day. So this guy started out, I think, about 8 feeds a day, and we gave him a formula that had a bunch of nuts and crude fat and proteins in it to get him to the size he is now. So believe it or not, when he came out, he weighed about 14 grams. So that's a lot smaller than this is. He fit into a little bitty bowl, and it took him probably about 115 days to get to roughly the size he is now. And we were giving him a lot of attention and care throughout that time. Woo. He just wanted to say hi to our cameraman. Yeah. You wanna come back, buddy? No. Can you step up? So Hades has his mind of his own. He's a parrot. He's not a pet. He's our friend. And we are able to work with him by giving him positive reinforcements. We use sunflower seed. We'll see if we'll accept it today. You want it? Maybe. Well, he eats sunflower seeds and a lot of other nutritional items. So sunflower seeds are more of a treat, but in the wild, he'll eat a lot of fruit and nuts. Those items give him a lot of fruit and protein, and they'll find it in their natural habitat. So palm cockatoos are native to the northern tip of Australia and New Guinea, so that the surrounding islands. And in the wild, they're pretty clever birds. So these guys actually use tools in the wild. They will go and break off large sticks and use them like a drumstick and beat it against another stick that's doing a behavior we refer to as drumming, and it's a behavior in which helps them mark their territory as adults. Yeah. So I was saying that Hades is one of the first palm cockatoo chicks that we raised here at the zoo. Let me explain why we did it. So a lot of birds here at the zoo are part of breeding programs, and they're paired up based on an SSP, or a species survival plan. These individuals are brought together due to genetic diversity in that species, and it's very important that we try to keep captive populations with a good genetic gene pool. Those gene pools are regulated by stub-up keepers, and they help us to keep our captive populations strong. So in the future, if there's anything that were to happen to wild populations, maybe we could add to them from our captive population. This, again, is a very important function of zoos. So a lot of facilities do breeding programs, whether or not you see that in the wild. When you come to visit us, we do a lot of behind the scenes to let you know more about it, which is what we're doing today. So he is one of our babies. Oh, come on. You gonna go fly away? I'll just tell you more about Hades when he comes back. Anyways, mom and dad were new at this. They were together for about 20 years before they produced a fertile egg. And that was a lot of trial and error on our part. We were learning what made the palm cockatoos feel happy and comfortable enough to reproduce in captivity. So we finally figured out the magic mood lighting, the magic food that made them happy and content to breed for us. Mom and Dad then attempted to lay multiple eggs and just couldn't figure out like how to incubate and then get it through the process. So that's when we stepped in as a facility. We then again took information from other facilities that let us know what was important about hand rearing baby birds, the palm cockatoo in particular, and we learned that from them. But luckily Mom and Dad have started to figure it out. So we actually have a 7-month-old chick that they raised all on their own, and so we will let the parents continue to raise chicks on their own at this point because that allows for a more natural rearing process. Although Hades is very comfortable with us and he's what we call imprinted on people, so he recognizes us as friends versus a threat, it is better for the long run if the parents can do it themselves and they produce chicks that are more natural. And again, if we could do that more often, we produce a captive population that are more releasable in the future if we were to ever get to that point. So Hades has decided he's done with us today, but I'm going to introduce you to a different bird. Hi, buddy. So this is Pancakes. He's one of our ducks here at the San Antonio Zoo, and again, we hand raised him. So he's a different type of baby in that when ducks come out, they come out pretty much being little ducks. They need a lot of help from their parents learning how to eat, fly, and take care of themselves in general, but they come out feathered like chickens. So these are precocial babies, meaning that they are just little versions of big birds and just need a little bit of help. So Pancakes here took a little less effort than Hades. Hades took a long time. Pancakes was pretty much to adult size by, I want to say 50, 60 days, but we were closely monitoring his weight and growth. So just like with any of our other babies, we would do daily weight checks and adjust diets based on that weight to get a percentage gain on what we have learned to be ideal for this type of species. What are you doing? Yeah. So Pancakes here is part of a group of ducks. This is a Hottentot teal. We have some of these guys in our Hickson birdhouse. He actually had 2 siblings this year. That's also Bacon and Oatmeal. We decided to name them after the Breakfast Club, went a little theme there. But we really enjoy them, and he's very comfortable with us today because he started out really young without any siblings, and we raised him, and he figured out, oh, people are cool. But what's nice about ducks and other flock animals, that once they start hanging out with other individuals of their same species, they realize that they're birds. And so it makes them easier to introduce to other birds in the future. So once his siblings get a little bit bigger, we'll let them spend time with his siblings, and they will form a group. And at that point, they'll start exhibiting more natural behaviors. And he'll probably end up less imprinted than, let's say, Hades. He likes to go up high. He doesn't like sitting down low. He's probably going to go to my shoulder. Yeah, where are you going, buddy? Hi. What's going on? Anyways, once you start hanging out with your friends, again, you'll start behaving more like a duck instead of a really friendly duck. He's still probably going to still be comfortable with us because we've raised chicks like this in the past, and they live on exhibit now at the zoo. And they hang out with their ducks more, but they're less stressed when we do important handling of these birds, such as medical care, and then moving to pair up with other individuals. Yeah. So we do this a lot with other birds like flamingos. Our flamingos that live out and do that flamingo mingle interactions, we're hand reared, and we maintain their comfortable behavior with people by constantly giving them food and attention, but they do realize they're flamingos. And so in the future, if we ever decide that breeding those flamingos are important, they have that natural behavior that they can rely on. So, what are you doing? I'm really distracted right now just because he's so cute. Just to give you a little more information about how we choose what to breed and what not to. We do try to let the parents do as much breeding on their own as possible. Again, it's more important for the parents to raise chicks on their own, therefore the parents get experience, and the parents pass on more naturalistic behavior to their offspring. We jump in when necessary. Pancakes here probably wouldn't have made it out of the egg unless we had pulled him. So for some reason, the humidity, maybe the general environment here at the zoo doesn't allow our duck eggs to hatch as successfully as they would in the wild. So we go and we pull these eggs and we do the incubation process and monitor the egg's growth and change throughout the whole time. Incubation for a lot of species is somewhere between 12 days to about a month. And so we go and we have markers, and we know that when we put a light through an egg, we can see the developmental process of that egg and monitor their progression. Pancakes here and his other ducks typically don't make it out of the egg unless we assist them. And then we give them medical care in addition to assisting them out of the egg so they can grow up to be big, happy ducks. And believe it or not, Pancakes here is full size. He's not gonna get any bigger unless he decides to, overeat a little bit. But we keep a good eye on how much they eat and how he relates to other birds on the exhibit. So I think that's all I really have to say today. I just want to thank you all for joining us. I hope you got to be a little bit more positive with our interaction with our animals today. I do want to remind you that even though the zoo is closed, we need your help and support. We operate here doing these wonderful things as a nonprofit and need guests and the support of the community in order to continue to do so. So if you visit our website, we would appreciate you donating to that emergency fund. However, if you can't, just sharing this video would make us happy. Thank you all, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.